Hi, this is Tim of the Watchbox at Dubai Watch Week 2021 with one of the novelties from de Bethune. For the first time in titanium, this is the DB25 Perpetual calendar. So the watch is 44 millimeters in diameter in grade 5 titanium. It's 12.6 millimeters thick, and it's 51.3 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip. So this one, I had a little bit more time to inspect it and measure it, so those are confirmed dimensions. Now, for the first time, they're also offering a green dial on the model, which is OSO 2021, but works remarkably well. So the timepiece is only a little bit thicker than a Rolex Daytona. It only looks squat because of the sheerness of the case flank. It's actually quite thin on the wrist. Getting a little bit closer, the dial is created, like the case and the movement, in-house at de Bethune. They have the faculties to make all the big parts of the watch, as well as smaller ones like balance wheels, for example. The DB25 Perpetual calendar uses a center dial with a rosette-style guilloche. You can see it's all metallic green. The printing is silver on green for a nice gentle contrast, and you can see that there's a toroidal minute and hour track outboard, so it's actually a two-part dial, and then there are smaller components that are inserted inboard for the sub-registers for Moonphase as well as the radial date. It is an aperture-style perpetual calendar with the day and the date and the month. Also, it has an exceptional moon phase with an adjustment interval of 1,112 years. So once you set it, you can basically forget it. As a perpetual calendar, it has the ability to track the change of the days, the months, the dates through the year 2100. And you can see that pusher adjusters in the flank of the case allow for rapid adjustment. There is a spherical moon phase that's been adjusted somewhat for this model. It's still spherical, but one half is white palladium, and then the other half is actually blackened. So it's not the conventional white and blue, it's actually white and black. Now you can see on the reverse side, the movement is very techy, and this is a watch that blends a little bit of classicism, the way the fixed lug solid dial DB25s tend to. It's not as extravagant as something like a DB28, so it's classical on the front, but it becomes the same high-tech de Bethune aesthetic on the reverse side, and that's a good thing. Now, because it's a perpetual calendar, you're going to be relieved that it has an automatic winding system and a long power reserve, so resetting is likely to be unlikely and at worst occasional. So it's an automatic winder. It has a platinum mass outboard and extremely long lever arms. At center, it has cantilevers with jewel inserts to reduce stiction, and the idea there is that you can have that long effective lever arm with a massive weight at the end of the rotor and shock protection at the center to protect the bearing on which it pivots. So this is a patented system. We also have a patent for bluing titanium, and everything that you see here that's blue is fired blue titanium. There's a combination of matte finish and then grained satination across the bridges, and we get to the balance, which is on Inca block at center, but it's also triple pare-chute, so you have shock protection at the center and then these large steel springs at the edge. That's another patent that de Bethune holds. It has two purposes. One is durability, to prevent the balance staff from fracturing, and the other is to more rapidly recenter the balance staff so that the watch will resume accurate timekeeping. We have the 2016 version of the ever-evolving de Bethune balance here, beating away at 28,800 vibrations per hour. This is all 5 days power reserve automatic winding. The balance has a titanium wheel, which you can see in blue, with white gold masses, which helps to move as much of the mass out to the rim, which is where you want it in a balance for resistance of bump or concussion-induced timing change. Now, it's also extremely resilient against temperature-induced timing change. There is a hairspring of their own design. It's made of two parts and it's shaped by hand, and the idea is to promote the concentric breathing of an overcoil, but also give you the flatness and shock resistance that comes with a standard flat hairspring. Overcoils can be somewhat vulnerable to shock, and they make for a thicker movement. And though you can't see it, there is a low lubrication silicone escapement that improves the precision of the watch and also reduces the necessary service on the watch, so you will have longer intervals between services. Now, this watch in titanium is going to be made in limited quantities. De Bethune makes somewhere around 200 watches a year, and that's likely to remain stable and static for a while. This is going to be made only for a few years and then only in relatively low numbers because it is a very complex and expensive model. This is the all-new green dial titanium de Bethune DB25 Perpetual calendar at Dubai Watch Week.